Jester. With CJ and Jester. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Take 5, your mental health program with CJ and Jester. With CJ and Jester. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Take 5, your mental health program with CJ and Jester. With CJ and Jester. Peru, Pacific, the rest of this ingredient, North America, Africa, Asia, Europe. Good morning to all on Take 5 fans. This morning we are going to be talking about paternity fraud, mental health, and the family. I haven't seen my co-hosters yet, so I think he's running a bit late. Maybe he has had trouble or something. So we'll get Kenro to put us, and by the time she's finished, I think he should be here. So, Carol, if you're listening, please call us so that we can do a prayer this morning. In the meantime, I'll just wait and play our team song. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Take 5, your mental health program with CJ and Jester. With CJ and Jester. I don't know what happened to her. I think, at least if I can do this to start. Carol, call me again, please. I think I figured it out before. I don't know why it was doing that first time. We have a phone, we still would have a phone rather than second response. Good morning. Good morning. Carol, hold on a second. I think we have to click on this here, and we go to task them. And I think we're good. Go ahead, Carol.
This morning, blessed God, give you thanks for waking us up. Give you thanks for the breath you have breathed on each and every one of us. But I stretch my hands to thee, Lord, I have find you but you, and it only you draw yourself from us. We consider for you, but you will try to put in a place. Well, I go all you know, and this morning, blessed Lord. You will was not alone, but still that we can consider. And I pass by every home this morning, blessed Lord. Pass by the Prime Minister, remember his ministers, the opposition party, remember the ministers. Morning, blessed Lord. We can do good things with our from this morning, blessed Lord. Before the money cannot do for themselves. You are the God of the establishment for all. Remember those on the death of affliction, those that cannot help themselves, those who have nothing to do and nothing to do, but remember them this morning. For that God, I bring you both on you and before you. Remember the sick and I bring you to you this hour, God. But I remember the first God is doing home this hour, God. But I God remember them in the days of mercy, in the going that you hold them in the evening, God. Cover them under your blood, and when they are about to up back, God. Please, Jesus, bring them back to and strong because outside, oh Lord, it's not easy this morning. Remember our bus drivers. Remember our drivers, I do this for you this hour, Lord. With every one of them inside. But there's only good at that system. There's only half to try again. Even those in the zone, one land, in the game, I do them before you and I leave them up to you. But I look over them, how them and protect them. You hope for the one, she knows is on the dark side. Remember them in a map and stick for you. Pick them into the game and I know what they from. Remember them, you work as love. You will leave them not alone. Upset circumstance with them. All of you for and give them up with them. God them is very bend inside. Pray for them what they cannot do for themselves. You particularly in the news. The sisters and the doctors, this our Lord. Remember the principal I bring before you. But at God we say and testify everyone. We all are mother child and father child is our blessed Lord. Would have mercy on them. Have mercy on them with our blessed Jesus. I bring that radio station before you. I lift up each and every one of them before you this morning, Lord. You know them by the name and you know them by the number. You are going to choose them. Remember each and every one of them. Provide for them. Put the bread on the table for them before our Lord. I ask you, Jesus, you know that Lord. But don't bring them up because you decide to say, oh, Father, we talk to them when you will be right in that in more forms. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, because the days are daily bread. And what you go forward for Jesus with what we do with your supplication. And lead us not into temptation, but we walk from all evil. That thy will kingdom, the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen and amen. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
Thanks, Pedro. How are you doing?
I don't hear that.
I said, how are you doing?
I'm okay for the time with Mr. Jester.
Well, you see Mr. Jester is all African decked out this morning. That's why he couldn't make it early because I don't know what happened here.
Why you have to make yourself nice? People can make yourself nice for you.
I
You have to
agree.
make yourself.
Ah, yeah, okay. Look,
And can you know we all are Chantinel people?
yes,
Of course,
yes.
yes. We like the best.
I know.
We like the best.
But I'm happy for
Yeah.
him because he look kind of good.
He
Kind of.
looking good. I always go see him and he looking good. He look kinda.
Okay. All of these Chantimel people and all of this go on them. You go take for another question.
I'm always good.
Anything you say. So thank you so very much and we shall chat.
Okay, I bet.
All right, bye.
Bye, Kenro.
Yes, so to be like to say thank you to Ken Wu for praying for us this morning again, Jessica. It is a Tuesday. You know, Jessica, it is today's day. 6th of May as it is already, you know.
Yeah, quickly moving, man.
Yes, yes, and
Like a 100-meter dash.
you're right. But this is not no relay, eh?
No,
This is a
no.
100 meter dash
But
relay.
you know, really is usually
They go
quick.
fast
This
these
is
days.
this is
Yeah.
not a 1500.
Oh, no, no, it's not like 4 rounds. The 1500 is 4 rounds, 4 rounds?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Depend on if it's on a 400 track, it's like three and some.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just say good morning to Olavachi Bongiorno. She's already on the line. And to Jester, you say good morning to who you have to say good morning to.
Yeah. Good morning to usually my boy out there. You always just see us starting off with him.
Of course.
Yeah. The Garden Bushes, Richardson, Wayne, Ted, John, Andy, Moose Bartholomew. I don't know if he's still here. I saw him around the final in Roseville on Sunday.
Oh,
I too should have gone back yesterday.
I saw Aito yesterday driving by. So I'm not sure if he's driving a burgundy reddish dark car.
Yeah, I've never seen him.
I think I saw him
drive.
yesterday when I came from Sundays coming up. I think I spotted him. But yesterday he posted that he was in back way. He was having his last seat back, I think.
Well, maybe, yeah, maybe you're right about that.
Yeah.
So, Claire in Maho, the Hill Street people, yeah, they had the harvest on Friday
Friday.
last, yeah.
Did you go to the
And
dance?
oh yeah, I went to
How
the
was it?
dance. I thought it could have more people than
I
that.
don't
I
think it
don't
was
know. I don't
advertised enough.
understand. Well, I don't know why, but you know, yeah. Although it shifted from usually harvest used to be the first Thursday in May for St. Patrick's Harvest, but um, I don't know. What's the reason for moving it to
All right.
so,
So that's all the good mornings?
I can't
I
think
didn't
of
see the
anybody.
Green family.
Oh
in
yeah, the
Boston.
Green family out there in Boston. You know, special good morning. Yeah.
And just so people know, we are getting a new phone for the 404 number, but it hasn't arrived as yet. So we are still using the number that is scrolling across on the screen, which is 1-416-728-8516. That's a number to call for making a contribution. And guess who showed up on the line this morning? Caitlin, the Harry to
Oh
Douglas.
gosh, that movie star.
She said, Jester talking for you, Chantinel people. Morning, CJ. Lord of the Chantinel people, I have no time. Ken, or Jester, Faith, Harry Douglas, whoever else, and Chantinel. I
You know,
think all props, I
but you know,
just
Shandyville people are all very proud people. If it's one thing I can tell you.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and it doesn't matter where you'll find any one of them, you know.
I'd like to say good morning to Lorna Payne. She has checked in there. But I'd also like to say good morning to Mary, British Chance Game 97. So he's their brother who lives in Grenada but operates out of the Grande Town between the top. Junior Mitchell, good morning to you. Good morning also to, let's see, Wendy in Toronto. Daphne Date and family are there in TO. Who has in TO that week? I'd like to say good morning to Jester. Do you know any?
Tio?
In Toronto, a good old Tio. And let me also say good morning to Marlon Klein. I didn't see him online as yet. Bernadette Abraham, good morning. Coffee in the morning? Morning to you. I spoke to you this morning. Say personal greetings to the Hill Street people. Good morning to you. Good morning to Carrie Support as well. He already says good morning to all of our teachers from Jungle. NP, good morning. Alvin Harris are there in the Big Apple. Good morning. Duchess, good morning. Good morning to Mr. Nicholas Snag. Hope all is well. Good morning to Pat Care and family. Hope all is well with you are there in the Powder Pit area. Yes, is it? That's it. That's what it
Yes,
is.
sir.
Powder Pit, yes. Carly is doing very well. Good morning to SBW. Good morning to Moosh out there in Moosh Lane, which is a horticulturist. You don't know where that lane is as yet. I'm going to introduce you to that lane one of these days. Good morning to Kathleen Ledlow. Not honors yet. Roy Charles Alexander, good morning to you. Joyce Well, good morning. Good morning to Silverly and Bowende and all the students under the University of the
Cashew tree. Well, speaking of the cashew tree, I spent a little time there and on Sunday last.
Were you educated?
And guess what?
Mm.
Well, of course,
Mhm.
I did not believe we had any cashew on the tree.
Well, it is
Uh,
because some of them,
uh,
that I don't really like that, but they're right there for your
if you're
picnic.
looking from on the outside, you'll
If you
never
don't see
believe.
them, but it's in
You have
between
to
there.
go underneath the
Yes,
tree.
that's
I,
fashion.
yes, I had a few. A few.
As a matter of fact, yesterday, somebody came in the company, a little grandson, and he had two fashions, say one for him, one for his friend. He ate one, and the next time I look around, he was eating the other one. I said, he's president. He's eating it. So let's say good morning to Aito, Angela, good morning. Radio Man, good morning to you. Paula, Sharon, and Melody, good morning. Sherry, St. John in Maryland, good morning to you. And Wendy over there in Toronto. Let me also say good morning to We Noise FM 94.9 in the Big Apple, and those of you who are listening on 107.5 in Illinois. Good morning to you, Mr. Williams. What is going on? So, guess we have said good morning. Who won the football championship?
Yes, we must say congratulations to Trenchtown. Yeah, Trenchtown Rock.
Tell me.
Yes, and Trenchtown, they defeated Paradise. And
Paradise FC?
yeah, Paradise there.
The FC Paradise?
Well,
That everybody
a lot of the
competes?
players, you know them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was asking the question, will this Trenchtown team become like the antidote, right, to stop the infectious winning streak of Paradise?
And they did.
And they did, because why? Quite a lot of Trenchtown players, they do play for
Different things.
of the Trenchtown team, they do play for Paradise in the GFA League.
I
So
see.
Claire, that is where the antidote
Mm.
yeah, was developed.
So, medicine.
You understand what I'm saying? But it was really, really a great final. The atmosphere was electrifying, and, with an exuberant crowd.
That's
Man,
going on my road. I
I'm
told
telling
you.
you, why you miss that final? Something
Me?
had wrong with you.
Nothing is wrong with me. I learned my lesson from the last time.
Oh,
Not showing
please.
up. You say the person and them comes, God is a good
Well,
life
and he
lesson.
had quite a lot this time around. I've seen people that I've never seen it
But
in
you
football.
call them and say,
Well, I don't know some of them names, but I just see them
walk up
around.
to them and say, who are you? Because you know me want to take advantage of me. So I said, I'm not going.
Okay, so that's one. So that the cutting has come down on that. Today is the preschool sports of Snell Hall Preschool. So, and that will be at this Snell Hall playing field. All right, so you can check them out just about 1 o'clock this afternoon. It goes up until, well, there are no lights there, so it must finish within natural daylight.
Seek opinion that.
Yeah.
No lights there. I was having a conversation with someone. I couldn't remember who it was. Who do I remember? I can't remember now. But the person said they're going to be lighting up Snell Hall, playing field.
Well,
Well, what?
well, who will be lighting up playing Snell Hall
The
playing?
lights that is in Rose Hill, in Riverside, in
Who said they will be doing that?
I told you that's what I was told.
Well, there are no lights there. Yet. But if I did,
Yes.
well, okay. Well,
Yes.
if they intend,
Okay, did they develop the road to that playing field?
well, yeah, the road has been developed.
Okay,
It ends right
I
there.
got that too.
And they
And the
have a
lights are gonna come. So what
the,
happened to
the
planes?
solar lights reach right. They have a few solar lights going up to the entrance of the parkway. So that is good. But in terms of lights on the pole to shine the field, that has not yet been done. But if you say somebody has promised to do that,
So let me ask
so
you
that will
something.
be
Is
fine.
planes playing field too big to get lights?
No, so I think they just have to
No.
hold on a while. Although I find out
Peter, let me see before.
Flintstone will come.
When? When cognitive?
No. Stop it now.
And let's stop it.
I understand how passionate you feel because you live in the area, and I always feel that planes they did not get a fair share that they should have gotten from over the years. I will admit that. You understand what I'm saying? So I believe it's time for certain people in authority to really wake up and smell the coffee and realize that they got something. But as I tell you, we, the St. Patrick Sports Council, we have already submitted a proposal to deal with the washroom facilities, changing room, and everything else. So that should materialize within time.
No, if they,
Because
if they
the
want
lights is
us,
gonna.
if they want us to contribute towards the lighting, we are willing, Because let me tell you, football takes place there, and you know that. Teams coming on Saturdays and then on Sunday. There are all kinds of activity in the park there, and no lights. Sometimes they hire or what do you call it? They rent. One of those big battery generator thing.
Yes, the mobile lights in them.
Right, they rent mobile lights if they have it on its activity, and I think that is so archaic.
Yeah.
Because we have the place, we have the thing that you could put up lights, and I don't understand what's going on. Even how to throw a couple of the solar lights that they have putting around the place. They could throw a couple in there if they want to because it's solar and I mean it's light.
Yeah.
But
and you keep
and I will keep.
Yeah. You keep advocating for it. It will come clear. Trust me, it will.
But you don't know when it's coming. You did not put in a proposal for that, did you?
Well, we have to take it in stages.
What
We can't do
stage?
everything one time.
Oh,
Come
give
on.
me a break.
But who knows? That might be a bigger picture, and the government might just tend to look into it. So
we have enough for that moment or something.
Oh, please, Claire, let's move on. Please have a next thing to touch on.
When we
You doing it? You think I'm a minister or something?
Well, I'm a minister, so become a minister. Let me tell you this. When you said you're putting a proposal for washroom facility and change room and so, did you all follow up on it to know when it's going to take place? Because my backyard there is stand with the bathroom that is not a bathroom.
Well, the thing about it, Claire, the budget has recently been read and everything like that. So from meetings with the National
You did
Sports
not answer
Council,
my question. You didn't answer my question. Did you all follow up?
No, we haven't followed up yet. But I have no doubt in my mind that it will come into fruition.
Oh, whatever.
I have no doubt.
Go ahead.
Yeah?
What else you have to speak?
Right. There is a dental healthcare clinic going on as we speak. It takes place at the River Sally Community Center. It started yesterday and it will go up until Thursday. So I urge the folks of River Sally and the surrounding areas to please take advantage of the opportunity because dental health is very costly, right? And if you get in free, right?
And I think based on the poster that I got from you is they're doing extractions, they're doing filling, they're doing cleaning and so.
Yeah.
I had my cleaning on Saturday, but not right now. I want to get to get cleaning. So look at that.
Look at that.
So shiny. Dish and scrape and everything like that.
So,
I firmly believe that one should take care of their teeth.
Yeah.
Because when you start to smile and then you're dance hall, it is not a pretty thing. I'm telling you. One thing I would take care of is my teeth and my feet.
Yeah.
Because that's what carry me all over the place. And even though I have to go to get my feet done, whatever, and then I'm buying proper shoes for my feet. Because when you're walking and your shoes tight and you have to lock your jaw, you're cracking all the teeth in your mouth for no reason whatsoever.
No, it's important to take extreme care of your
teeth and feet.
Because one of the ugliest thing I've seen in a vehicle is driving without a grill. The grill in front of the vehicle. You know.
Like something when like a bomb drop inside. That's what some of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's one thing to remove your teeth if you're going to put dentures, right?
Yeah.
Because you're doing that. But when you have all that rots in your mouth, and it's and let me tell you, people don't know, it can cause you to get heart attack, because it builds plaque. Because you cannot really do much with it to well, in the first place, if you run brushing, it is what causes it to do that because cavities and so setting. So when it reaches that stage, do not be afraid to go pull it up and leave your mouth free for a moment so that your gum can heal and then you can put denture. Because let me tell you something. Every time I see somebody who has to go, I just can't be. Don't go to the dentist, please put it out and because the smile is the best thing that you could ever have. When you smile, and you smile with pretty teeth. It does look really horrible. I remember I had one in the back here. Okay,
when I took the photo of it, I look at it. When I went to Sandra, she couldn't handle it. Well, I had to go to Dr. Yeah, he's a real dog, man. And he handled it like a piece of cake. Yeah. Yeah, your teeth, I think people should, even though, look, I have
an implant in my mouth here because I lost one. I was like, when you're growing up and you go to the dentist, they never knew about it, but the time they didn't know that you can feel it in or anything.
Yeah.
So every time you go to the dentist, they pull they pull that tooth, right? So when I go to the dentist like every 6 months to get it clean and everything, like get my teeth clean and all that because I want to go with my megawatt smile, I'm not a freaking smile. And he said to me, do you want to put an implant? And I'm like, why? He says, because as you get older, your teeth, when it's missing one, it starts pacing out. And then it affects your cheek, your face starts sinking. And I'm like, what? He said, yes. So I said, okay, how much is it to put one of the over $3,000? But you're not getting any medical from that because it's cosmetic. I'm like, huh. I said, so when all my teeth fall out of my mother, one kind of teeth stand up, and if I said, well, look like vampire, he laughed. He said, no, you're gonna do it. So I, I said, okay. So it took a while because there's a process, eh?
Yeah.
They have to screw it in. They have to put a screw inside the gum that has to stay for about a month, 6 weeks to a month and a half or something like that. And then you go back and they kind of pull it down a bit. But all that you're under anesthetic, they pull it down a bit, and then you have to go and let it heal for another whatever, and then they attach it. But you have to get it matched because if I didn't tell you, would know I have one because you got a perfect match or because of my teeth. So if you have really, really white teeth, you're going to get a white implant. If you have between white and cream, you're going to get one of that. So I have an implant. And there are a lot of people that put veneers on their teeth. It's nice teeth. It does go across nicely. It's because they cover the teeth and so. So there are a lot of things in the dental world that you can do for your mouth right now. You have people that when they smile, you think it's chiclets they have in it. Because if your nails big, you just have big piece of teeth and all. I'm not in the veneer. I'm
Oh
with my
my
you know,
gosh.
yeah, but I'm saying this to tell people go get your teeth looked after. It's
Yeah.
free right now. It's at the community
Yeah, and
center.
it should be taking the children as well, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, taking the children as well.
Take
You know,
it. But you see the thing about it, when dentists are killing young children, teeth, I'm not all for it because the teeth is going to drop out so that they can get new ones.
oh
So
yeah.
they should really let them brush and irrigate and floss to keep the gums and teeth healthy. And let me tell you, people, we talk about brushing our teeth, I call it the FBI. You floss, you brush, and then you irrigate. Flossing is key to keeping your teeth healthy. Because when you don't floss and you eat, it builds plaque on the bottom line of your teeth
Yeah.
and around your teeth. And then when you go to the dentist and they start to scrape, everybody says, oh my gosh, that thing that I have in it. But if you do not have a buildup, it wouldn't last long.
Yeah.
So floss, floss, floss. Sometimes you don't even have to get toothpaste because toothpaste is just just to give you a little frothy thing. But the brush is what you really need to get your teeth and the floss. So go to the Riverside Community Center today from 8 to 5 p.m.
Yeah.
and get your teeth checked. Because when I see you and you're not more and you have all that on the head on the next side, because you could do better.
Yeah.
It's free.
They had a little hiccup yesterday morning when they started off. And then I was called in into play. I was on my way to St. George's actually, and I had to turn back
Oh,
to go and resolve things for them electrically so
oh,
that they could have continued. So they had some setback
yesterday.
yesterday morning, but they are good to go now.
So was there a lot of people yesterday? Or did
Yeah. Some people well yesterday, man.
also, the watch clinic was in Saturday yesterday.
Yeah,
Also, the eye
yeah,
people.
yeah.
They were in Saturday yesterday.
But I think their own is for one day, which would
One
have
day.
been only for yesterday
Yesterday,
alone.
and then they go to Granville. I don't know if it's Granville or wherever, whatever. They go to different parts of Grenada.
I know
different
usually
days.
the Rotary Club organizes, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So things are, things, there are things that we get. And the thing is just when some of us get the glasses that people provide for us, we go to get our eyes checked because we need glasses. They provide the glasses for you, and some of us don't even know where we put the glasses. So in that case, do not go bother the people.
No.
Give someone else a chance that is willing to wear the glasses that he's put on. Because as far as I know, to take them for the Rotary Club to bring the people here, it is not free and it is not cheap. And a lot of them, based on the conversation that I had with Robert, because Robert is in the Rotary Club, they paid a way to come to Grenada to do this for us
That's
here.
a huge sacrifice, eh?
They are making a
Yeah.
sacrifice. So If they're doing that, you meet them halfway, they give you a glasses, wear it, or don't go but waste the time.
Yes, we must show deep appreciation for these
Exactly,
people because
exactly.
those conducting the dental health clinic in River Valley Community Center, they are based from Canada. Yeah,
They come from Canada.
yes, Canadian professional.
You know what? Canada has been a big part of Grenada forever and ever. Remember the cookies that used to get at the stick on top of gum and stick and dig it up from something? It was from Canada. To the exercise books that we used to get was from Canada. And we Canada Save the Children Fund. Well, Canada Save the Children Fund. So they have been a big part of our lives in Grenada growing.
Interestingly, I'm also hearing that we no longer have to get visa after to go to Canada. And this news is just
But
so
hold on
good.
here. When I went to Canada in '86, I didn't need a visa just by my ticket and I was Canada.
Yeah,
But I think it happened when they said that some they started selling passports
yes,
and all
yes.
this
And
stuff.
also the people
Was
started ending up with the passports. I know that for a fact.
Orientals that could speak so and they can say A and they could say diddly squat and peachy keen and so they know all the language and the mosey and okie dokie and all that. They had a Canadian passport. So they kind of clamped down on that. But when I sat and I thought about it, because the new Prime Minister of Canada, which is Mark Carney, he did say that he was doing about the countries that he's letting come to Canada now is the 10 countries and the 10 countries that Trump dropped the axe on.
Oh,
So yes, it's like
so this
Grenada.
man really prepared for
Oh
job.
yes, Grenada, Barbados, Dominica. Jamaica is in. I don't think Ghana. I didn't hear Ghana. Jamaica, Saint Lucia, Saint Lucia and the Grenadines. I think the 10 that Trump said he was going to drop the hammer on is the 10 that he's taking them together. But there are rules and regulations. You cannot just go because you have to get police record and all that stuff. You have to be legit.
Yeah.
So you can't just say, okay, Canada open and you buy your ticket and you go because you might lose your money and everything of that sort because they're not just taking any and anybody in there. Still with being open, not getting visa, you still have to have this, and I think you also have to get an ETA. I don't know if it's an electronic, whatever it is, something you have to fill up and all that and present to the people before you
Of
can.
course, they would have some requirements to be fulfilled as
Listen,
well.
people always say about Canada. Canada is one of the hardest countries to get into to migrate to. People go to the States and they get a visa and stuff like that. But Canada, the rules and regulations of Canada is more difficult than to go to the US or other countries.
To stay.
Yes, yes.
And well, you see,
What
it
is it
didn't
African
impress.
Day today?
I'm in solidarity with the people of Burkina Faso, man.
Well, let me tell you something. Don't I don't really follow thing. But you see that man Abraham for Torah? No,
Yeah,
love that man with all my
tell
heart.
me.
And I tell you what. I saw something the other day that they offered $5 million to one of his soldiers to take him out when he's free. When he bent down to pray, they offered one of his soldiers to kill him, to execute him while he was free. And he said that they offered him and said it's a good deal, too good to pass up. And his reply to them, I prefer be a king in my country than be a dog in yours. That was his response to them.
Yeah,
Yeah, it took them to be a dog because they offered him and his family $5 million. But think about it, Jester. $5 million may sound like a lot of money to some people to migrate to, but when they drop you, wherever they drop you, which Western country offered him that? He's not going to be free because they're going to look at him as a traitor, justice savior. Because if you kill your prime minister or whoever to get to my country, who knows what you will do tonight? So I'm telling you, when people get offered money to do things that are not right, you have to think about if I do that and I go to that country, what is going to happen to me? I will always be looked at as a traitor.
but this guy really, really have been protected by the Almighty, man. I've been
And
looking
his
at a
soldiers,
documentary.
yes. They
Yeah,
tried 3 times
yeah, they
already.
tried already.
Yes.
You know, one of his consultants actually insisted that he go to a route. He had to go to a center to meet some youths, and the consultant wanted him to pass.
It was a setup.
Yeah, he had some minds and things. And you know what saved that whole thing? There was a brown cow that's stood in the road
Oh no, Bronco.
and it never
I never moved.
and never moved. Never moved.
Actually, the good
See?
thing is, I don't.
And there were some mines there.
What I like about the one of the thing that I read about is that it says all pregnant women that goes to the hospital has to be the babies have to be delivered free of charge. He said because these are the children of tomorrow. They don't have to pay a cent. Then he is building roads. And let me tell you, even though he
I'm
took
on
over,
transforming Burkina Faso in such a way and
that's the
using the
thing.
resources to develop his people and
Yes,
invest in them.
but a lot of
This
people
is
don't like
just
that.
so amazing,
Says
man. I'm telling
Africa is, they
you.
come
Yeah,
together to
yeah,
be a
yeah, yeah.
force to reckon with.
Oh,
And I
yes.
know he has the president of Ghana with him right now,
Yeah.
and he's building roads. And let me tell you
But I
something.
believe the movement is moving across
Yes,
certain
it
states
is.
of Africa,
You
man.
know, yes. And the thing is, he's so inconspicuous. He wears no suits or anything. He's taking the same salary that he got as a soldier. He doesn't ask for more money. He's just using whatever he has, whatever resources that is
You
there to
say
build up.
inconspicuous?
Well, yes, in the sense that when he doesn't travel with an entourage of people, he was on a plane not too long ago, and they asked him to move from first class to the back of the plane. They didn't know who he was. He said, "Why do I have to move?" Oh, we made a double booked and stuff like that. So they were attacking African Americans, and it was French airline. So he didn't move. He says, "I'm not going to move because I have my first class ticket." When they tried and it didn't work, they offered him things to eat, water, he didn't take anything. When the plane landed and wherever it landed, they saw all these cars, black limousines and all that came and guys with guns and all. So they wanted to know who is that important person on the plane. There was a white guy that says he's going to do business in Burkina Faso,
Yeah.
and they should be happy that he's coming there to do business with them. He heard all that. So when they saw all the cars, and so he said, "Oh, they're coming to meet me because I'm going to do important business." And two soldiers came up on the plane and they salute my man.
Yeah.
And they says, "Welcome home." Everybody was like shrunk. Fly could have gone in there. So you see, because he wasn't, when I
Yeah,
say
it's just
because
humble.
yes,
Yeah,
he could
yeah.
jump and say, I'm all important and here.
Clear
You know,
humility is a blessing, and
humility
the
is the best.
disregarding of one roots is certainly a cost.
It says
That's my philosophy.
pride coming for a cry.
Yeah.
If you're humble, you're gonna get far more places. So with all that, let's move. So today it is 10:37. Today we're going to be talking about paternity fraud, mental health, and the family. And if you do not know what paternity fraud is all about, let me give you the definition. It says paternity fraud is a situation where a man is misled into believing he is the biological father of a child when in fact he is not. This can happen deliberately or unintentionally. But regardless of how it comes about, the implications for the man, the mother, the child, and the entire family are profound. This form of deception touches not just the fabric of trust within a relationship, but also has lasting emotional and psychological consequences for everyone involved. And Jester, this is no joke. There are millions of us in this world that do not have our biological family. Millions. It is not an uncommon thing. And when you said to me, maybe we should do something about that because when you said that, I said, okay. So as you know, the young research queen, I delved. I called my producer, Lorna, and I said, the name is coming, but I cannot get it. It's not illegitimate because all children are children. It is not illegitimate. So Google that and tell me what it is. My answer was paternity fraud. And it is fraudulent because if you go to money is not yours and you take the money, you're committing fraud, yes? It is the same as when a child is born to a parent and the parent or the man is not the biological, and it happens to women too, right? The biological parent of that child, you're committing fraud. So here's the first heading: the father's emotion. One of the most devastating effects of paternity fraud is felt by the father. The man who has been raising a child thinking he is the biological father may experience profound emotions when the truth is uncovered. And believe me, the truth is going to be uncovered. It may not happen today, it may not happen next week, next month, but at the end, it's going to happen. And I'll tell you why. Because sometimes you're raising a child, thinking the child is yours. something happened to you medically. You have to do a blood test and DNA. And that's when most of us discover that we are not the proper parent of that child.
Yeah,
And it is something that, for the medical history of the whole family, they should not hide it.
yeah,
But
because even when so for example, I a father might leave his child and travel, and after want to take up that child. Let's say you go to the United States, want to take up a child, and then you have to go through the process of doing the DNA.
they take
And
the
in
whole
some
school.
instances, it failed. It did not correspond. And under this condition, that is where the difficulty really, really comes around.
It's listen.
You know?
This is a hard topic to talk about.
No, this is not a. This is
It is
this
a
topic.
very
It's
hard and emotional
broad
topic
based.
to
It's
talk about.
emotional. It's and I usually most time when we touch these sort of topics, much people don't call it.
But I want them to call or even to leave a comment online. Because let me tell you, we are not doing this here to shame anybody.
Oh no.
We're doing that so people are aware of what is the right and wrong way about doing things or about going about things. And this is not to point fingers at anybody whatsoever. I want to make that clear. It is just educating because what we do here is inform, educate, and discuss things that affect us on a day-to-day basis.
Claire,
That's what it is.
I would just say it's just the realities of life. It happened in the past.
It's
It
continuing to
couldn't
happen.
happen.
But
Exactly.
it's a daily,
Yeah.
it's a daily thing.
So
So here's they said the key emotions and effects the father may experience include shock, anger, betrayal, insecurity, self-doubt, identity crisis, depression, anxiety, paranoia, isolation, self-destructive behavior. So when he gets to know that the child that he has been raising for all that child's life is not his, these are the emotions that he goes through.
and the question is, how do that person deal with such situation? Because remember, there are different people. One might deal with it in a particular way, whereas another may not be strong enough to deal with it, and that might just change the whole
Dynamic.
behavioral pattern. You just never know.
It says the father's sense of identity as a father may crumble, and his emotional investment in the child and family may feel shattered. As a result, he might experience depression, anxiety, or even self destructive behavior such as substance abuse or violent outbursts. His ability to trust his partners or others in the future may also be deeply impacted. So, if that happens to a man that is looking at that is growing or growing that child that is not his, and then he gets to realize that this child is not the other person that comes into his life or may come into his life will suffer.
That is one thing. But under such condition, right? What do you think is best should happen? Okay, so I am thinking I'm the father of that child from birth, right? So from that time, let's say it goes up to the age of 16, and then you get to realize that is not the case, maybe through some DNA or so. How should that man really react? Do you think it, how best, do you think he should just drop all relationship with that child? And think, well, you are not mine. I no longer can have such a relationship with you. Would that be the best thing to do? Uh, these are the hard questions that will pop up.
I don't think so because yes, child
Child
has
is innocent.
is it
That's
could
it.
be the
Yeah.
parents that has to go.
Yeah.
But then as we go further window, but then if there are instances that I know and saw and read about that the child only know that person has died. He may get to know the biological father, and that's just going to be the father.
But it would be very painful for that child too.
Yes, yes, very.
Very
So
painful
let's
for that child.
continue.
Yeah.
So the child, good morning, Kathleen Lego. She has just checked in.
Yeah.
The child's the mother's secret for the wife or mother who has either knowingly or unknowingly deceived her husband, boyfriend. The weight of carrying such a secret can take a profound toll on her mental health. The key emotional effects on the woman's wife, girlfriend include guilt, fear, chronic stress, shame, emotional exhaustion, depression, physical symptoms like headaches, insomnia, etc., emotional withdrawal, the constant wife or girlfriend constant fear of being exposed can lead to chronic stress, even emotional exhaustion, which may affect her ability to interact with her family or maintain her well-being. Over time, this emotional burden will result in distant and poor relationships with her spouse and children as guilt consumes her. We're talking about people like me, women. So I thought about it and I went in, I went out, I went around, I delved, I did, and everything as a woman. And I think the conclusion that I came to is this. Unknowingly, tell the person that you're with the truth from the beginning if you know, right? And as the child keeps growing, you don't give them everything at the same time. But as time goes by, you let the child know the truth. Because you see, at the end of it all, everyone's life is destroyed.
But the thing is, because I'm telling you, this topic is not an easy topic this morning. I'm telling you,
You're
just
speaking
so
speak.
broad this morning. And I may have my wife home, may have my girlfriend, or this, and even the partner that you will get involved in, she has her relationship too. But it's egos that take people to that point, and as a result, end up in such situation.
When you
All
say
right.
ego, what do you mean?
Well, egos. I mean, and if egos nowadays are happening on both parties' part. I mean, you go there, you see somebody, and especially based on certain environment, certain circumstances, and started talking. Not even probably with the intention that it probably could have led to that far. But these are the kind of things what was happening in real life, and resulting in a pregnancy coming along. But then again, you're thinking,
But the pregnancy coming along, but do you know if the baby is yours as it is saying there now?
well, sometimes you are, okay, what if the lady tell you, well,
Yes,
I got pregnant for you?
But is she sleeping with someone
No,
else?
that you do not know. But the pressure start to mount from since there. And how do you deal with this? You might want to, for some men, the best thing is to let your wife know that will be the best thing. Many people will say. But then again, depending on how well you know your wife, you know if you reveal that you understand. So a situation like that will cause some men not wanting to reveal the situation to you. Something you have to look at it from that point of view as well too.
Sure. And Paul, I don't want to just read on my eyes not hurting me today. That's why my glasses are always reading. This person said, a man can be a great father to a child that is not biologically his. It is the mindset towards that child that matters. And that is true.
It is true what she's saying there.
Who said that she?
Well, she or he, sorry.
Okay.
All right. But you see, the thing is now, okay, Claire, if the circumstances might be a little bit different. Now, if we know we don't have any child, we go on and we adopt a child. That's a different situation, totally different. But when you're make believe that the child is yours and it turned out not to be yours, I think that situation is totally different.
Okay. So with that, we're moving along. Here we go to the child pain and confusion. Paternity fraud doesn't only affect the parents, The child also experiences emotional turmoil upon discovering that the man they thought was their biological father is not. Here are the key emotional effects of the child that includes, it says, betrayal, confusion, rejection, trust issues, abandonment, self-worth struggles, emotional withdrawal, anxiety, depression. The child may feel betrayed and confused, leading to trust issues with not their parents, but with others around them. They may feel rejection and a diminished sense of self-worth, causing them to emotionally withdraw from their family and friends. This may result in depression, anxiety, and long-term mental health struggles. So you see, good morning, Taz. Taz is in London, and Taz says hi.
Taz?
Yes,
The Taz
my
is
Taz.
what?
Hey, Taz, good morning to you.
Taz, good morning, bro.
Yes. So you see how this happened to what happens to the child. When we make our cry, when we do our cry, we don't
Yes.
think about the people that get affected down the road. We do it and we're afraid and I give you the child and I say it's yours and it's not. And deep down, and I know that that child is not yours.
But I have listened stories even from way back.
Mhm.
And sometimes the circumstances, right, that develop, that cause a woman sometimes to fall victim of certain situation just because she had found herself in a certain position.
Indeed.
For example, remember back then, hardship, economic hardship, and
Plantation
had
mothers and
children.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, we have to look at it from back
Yeah,
there
yeah,
as well.
yes,
You
and that's
understand?
it. That's why I said
Yeah.
knowingly or unknowingly. Because I was having a discussion with my friend Solms and Lorna, and I was even talking to a man about it because when I'm doing top 10 and it's so painful to
Yeah.
a lot of us, I don't just say, okay, just the way to it. I feel people and how they feel. I talk to people to see how their feelings are about this thing. The man said to me, this is a topic that you need to discuss because it happens every day. Now, you know, what I said long ago, when the plantation owners, the people that work on the plantation, they are the foremen and so. The women that work on the plantation work there for days, hours a day. They have their children at home and they are like single mothers from that day on. From the time they get pregnant, the person, the good for nothing that gave them the child is no longer in the picture they left. They went to sow their oats somewhere else. Now, she wants a bunch of fig or a bunch of blubber to go home, or even like dashing or some color or something. He will say to her, yes, you can get it, but you have to give me something in return.
Yeah.
It starts there, right?
Yeah.
You have to give me something in return for it. Desperation
Yeah.
on the part of I have some hungry children at home will cause you to do what you did.
Because
there.
what choice would you have been left with?
You do have a choice not to, but then your children is going to start.
And that
And
is
that is where a lot of us as mothers put our lives before
put the pride and the dignity.
before
Yeah.
and do the wrong thing
Yeah.
to feed our children. So this one, I don't know if it's unknowingly or unknowingly because they didn't go to get pregnant.
No, of course not.
They went, they did it to feed their children. And some of them, they did have somebody in their life. But that person is not stepping up to the plate as they ought to, so the child suffer for that. The children will suffer for that, right? So that happens. She becomes pregnant. She knows she must have done a little hanky panky with the foreman. But on in her head, the child is her husband's. Right?
And Claire, listen to me, and sometimes I just get this topic is not really emotional. I mean, I've heard of all these things before, right?
Mhm.
And I'm speaking as a man. I will never, never, ever go down that road trying to blackmail any woman to have sex with them. That is certainly would. I've seen this thing so devastating. That's a curse actually. It's not. It's something I will never ever even think about. Not one shred of it.
Because you know why, Jester? You have put that person in a more dire situation than they were before. Because now there's another mouth to feed, right? when she gets pregnant, her husband or boyfriend was not stepping up to the plate as it is, then you have another child to feed. So it's like it's become a recurring decimal factor. You keep going and going and going. And I understand why a lot of women end up with a lot of children in those days because they were needing other people to help them out. And you come and you say, okay, you have that one child, no big deal. I will help you because I know you're struggling. You give me another one. And then you move out of my life. And then somebody else come give you the same sort of story. But because of the economic factor of it all, we keep our stupidities keep going and going and going. And before you know it, we have all kinds of children. And I'm not saying that, it is a good thing, but at the same time, the survival of the fittest. And that's what happened. On the other hand, there are women that know definitely they play the field out there. They know the child is not the Mr. But they give him because I'll tell you what, there is for um, economic thing because they feel that the person that they give the child to, say like you're an electrician and they think that you're making a lot of money. If I give that child to Jester, that child will not suffer because Jester has a job where he can take care of that child for me. But that is wrong
That
on all fronts.
that does happen too.
Yeah, because the child at the end of it is who is going to feel it most of all.
So
It's
clearly, let me just say one thing, and let me stare straight into the eyes of the
serious.
camera. For all men out there, what doing such, I condemn you strongly. You should not be doing things if you're to assist somebody economically for sexual favors. That is so wrong. And if you are guilty of doing that, you should stop immediately.
Yeah. So let's take a quick commercial break, Jester, and we shall be right back. Yes. Five, four, three, two, one. Welcome to Take Five, your mental health program with CJ and Jester. With CJ and Jester.
Spice up your life, Isle Spice, as the Spice Isle Farmers Association, producers of our locally grown spice products, turmeric, ginger, nutmeg, cinnamon, cloves, and much more, all of which, when used, promotes healthier living. Our spices can be used in all your cooking and for medicinal purposes. Call today on 1473 533 5472 as the Spice Isle Farmers encourages you to spice up your life. Isla Spice. Are you looking for that one local supermarket where you can purchase all your grocery and household items at the same time? Well, look no further. Smart Buy SA Belford and Company Limited, located at the top of the town on Main Street, St. Patrick, is the ideal spot. They're open Sunday to Sunday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturdays, and 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Sundays, just for your convenience. Call them today on 442-9219. That number again, 442-9219. We're shopping snacks at Snack Buy.
At Sugar's Repair Services, we offer digitally calibrated machines, resurfacing engine heads, general machinery. Show us your pattern and we'll make it with precision machines. At Sugar's Repair Services, we satisfy your needs. Just ask and it will be done. Call us at 473-418-1845. Sugar's Repair Services, located at Lower Marley, St. Patrick.
For more information, contact We Noise TV at 929-445-4463, or you can email us at wenoisetv@gmail.com. We Noise TV, the leading streaming provider. Anytime, anywhere, any screen. Access to your favorite HD content with prices as low as ever. Choose from monthly, quarterly, or yearly payments. This worldwide service is flexible for you to keep up with all your favorite programs, shows, movies, and local programming from home no matter where you travel to. Worldwide TV channels right at your fingertips wherever you are. Latest in live sports, binge watch all your favorite TV shows, movies on demand, videos on demand. You can pause, rewind, fast forward anytime. Never miss 1 minute in entertainment important to you. No contracts, no added prices for sports or premium packages. We certainly don't have to pull tricks like cable and satellite companies. Our product speaks for itself and beyond. eNoise TV. We have everything like Netflix, Disney, Amazon. Watch your favorite movies, TV shows, and series with our services. With our service, you will get rid of all other subscriptions. For more information, contact WeNoise TV at 929-445-4463, or you can email us at wenoisetv@gmail.com.
Welcome to Take 5, your mental health program with CJ and Jester. With CJ and Jester.
Talk about paternity fraud, mental health, and how it affects the whole family, child, and everything like that. So we're heading on now to the impact on the family unit. So we talk about the father, we talk about the mother, the child. Now we're doing it as the whole family at the moment. So the impact on the family unit. The revelation of paternity fraud can have a ripple effect throughout the entire family. Relationships once built on trust may break down, leading to trust broken, conflict, blame and resentment, separation and divorce, family fragmentation. Prevalence of paternity fraud. While exact figures are difficult to determine due to the nature of the issue, various studies suggest that paternity fraud is more common than many people realize. Some estimates suggest that 1 to 3% of fathers are unknowingly raising children who are not biologically theirs. In cases where paternity is contested, rates of misattributed paternity can be significantly higher. Motivations behind paternity fraud. Understanding the reasons why paternity fraud occurs can provide context to these cases. 1. Financial security for the child. Desire to maintain a relationship with the presumed father. Fear of the biological father's reaction. Social pressure or stigma. Remember, we are talking about that. Why some people, so we have financial security, desire to maintain a relationship with the person that you gave me as my father, fear of the biological father, how you're going to react when you get the truth, and social pressure or stigma. So I say, Joe, you know the child is not even about, don't tell him anything.
But check the amount of people that are affected as a result of maybe just 2 persons. What they have gotten into it, and check how many people that will be affected as a result of that child coming into the process.
Yes. So, I don't even know what to say, how to deal with this, to be quite honest, because you see the breakdown of what takes place in the family. It affects, and the thing is, if now that father and mother and that child that does not belong to you, if they have other children, and other children get to know that you or I am not daddy's child, you know what happens there, right?
Oh, yes.
A lot of animosity starts playing.
Oh, yes. And
that you can't do everything, you cannot have this is not here.
Clear. And I also know that for the siblings, all right, of like their father, and maybe go outside and make a child, the children that he had before, they fail to accept That child on the
No
outside.
secrets. None.
Yeah,
None.
it happens like that as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
But
the hurt is
it's on
just,
all sides.
yeah,
All
and
sides.
of different nature as well.
Those who are legit and those who are illegit or illegit are the same. So, it has that great impact on the child, the family, or the mother, the father. And the thing is, I could understand the fear of the mother to tell the father, but I think if you say it early enough, you might be able to walk it out. Then you let me raise that child up to the college age, and not say a word. And something happened to that child, and we have to go to college and to the hospital. And okay, the father or the mother has to take some tests, some blood tests to see what's how the child. The family history, the medical history, that is important. And those of us who feel that, it doesn't have an impact on us, think again. Because when medically something happens to you, first thing they're going to do is blood test or the DNA, and that's when all can hit the fan, like we tell you.
Yeah.
It is not.
Some wouldn't disclose again, clear as we stated before, because of the fear.
Yeah, but you ruin your child's life. I was talking to a gentleman and he said he has a son that the mother never gave to him. And when he got to the child and they spoke, the child didn't want anything to do with it because the child thought that he abandoned the mother, which wasn't the case. The mother refused to let the child, she was married, she gave the husband the child. But the child got to know that this is not the case. And he met his father and they spoke and he says, "Oh, why did you abandon my mom?" And he says, "No, I did not." And he explained, no, the child grew up, he and his father started having a better relationship. And he made that point that he's not having any children. That's the impact that it has on him.
So you see what's happening. Whereas with me, I'm not supporting any man that is not looking after the children. You have to look after your children. Make no bones about it.
Well, yes, but not everybody that grow big that grow up. You understand? There are big men that claim to be fathers, or I think, or I don't know which one. Which one is it? The daddy or the father that is the good one? Help me out here. Children call the people that is close to them that they formed the bond with dad, and the fathers are the sperm donors. They give the children and they move along and they say, I have that. Oh, Claire's my daughter. When Claire succeeds in her life, I become the daughter. Or when Jester succeeds in his life, he becomes the son. All along, they did not know that you exist until you made it, and then they come out of the crab hole and try to claim you. No, thank you. Goodbye, hasta la vista.
Yeah, because by that time, why
You
do
don't
you
really need them
exactly, exactly? That is what
just
some of them don't understand.
you don't need them, and that is, and you see the thing about it, Jester, with the father that is not the biological father in that child. He invested his whole life with that child. That child is there. They form a bond. And regardless of what happens, he may tell himself when he's hurt, I want nothing to do with that child. But he cannot, you know why? Because that bond was already formed.
He shouldn't.
We have a call. Good morning. Good morning. Hello? I'm getting, why am I getting it here? Hello?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Okay.
Buongiorno.
Okay, concerning it. Yes, buongiorno to you. Mr. Jester, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, concerning that I'm with the father and the child not knowing
Mhm.
that the father is the father. Well, okay, it happened to one of my sons. Huh?
Mhm.
He had a girlfriend, had a baby by her, and he was taking care of that child from the time it was born, right? But then she decided that she wanted to child support or whatever it was. So they went to court for that. And while they were in court, because of how she was getting on, the court said to my son, I think you should have a DNA test, which they did, only to find out that child was not his child, right? But anyway, he continued taking care of that child until she became like he put her to college. She's a pilot now. And she wanted a gift that he could not afford. And because he could not afford that gift or did not want to give her that, it was too much. She called him a deadbeat dad. No. Up to today, that thing remained with my son. He is so hurt by that. He doesn't know how to tell her, I am not your father, which he doesn't want to do. Neither do any one of us in the family want to do that. But I'll tell you one thing today, that boy is hurting badly because of that. So much so, he does not even want to get married. So
So
that is very hurtful.
so that secret has not been revealed.
No, because nobody wants to tell her that we don't want to hurt her. Nobody told her that. And as a matter of fact, we all embrace her. I embrace her as my granddaughter. You understand? So none of the family really wants that to get out.
Wow.
But it's only one thing I thank God for because the parents are American. If they were West Indians, maybe
I
that
know.
would have
I
them
know.
out, but it did not.
Yes.
And I thank God for that.
Listen, I don't know. I'm sitting here and I'm shocked, you know. That.
This is a very peculiar situation.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Because
Because she's 23 years old now. And nobody in the family has told her anything.
you said she's a pilot?
Yes.
What airline she flies?
I'm JetBlue.
Oh, my favorite airline. So I'm asking you that just in case she gets to want to fly in a plane or that she can handle, you know what I'm thinking. So keeping a secret safety. Because I don't want to go wrong on another line, believe me. Because you see, the impact that this thing could have on her right now, if you were to call her and say, you know, you're calling me a deadbeat dad, but I am not your dad. And I have DNA tests to
No.
prove it. That
He
will
would not.
devastate, that will shatter her. And I say to you, Olavachi, kudos to you and your family. I'm not sure if this is the right thing that you are doing, to be quite honest, by keeping it a secret. But it has been kept that long. She has made it that far in her life. But your son is hurting. It is something that I don't know. I cannot tell you to tell him to tell her, but maybe all of you could go to therapy. He and her to go to therapy and sort this thing out. Because by him not saying anything to her right now, and it is eating him up inside, it's going to continue to eat him up until it's out. Because you see, it is not something that he deserved what he got.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to deal with it, to clear. I
But
believe they have to, I just
yeah,
say,
but to be honest with you though, he doesn't know. And she lives in California, and they're not in touch with her now because she take out.
Mhm. But California is not in Kalamazoo. It is just 3 hours flight away, and she's a pilot. You can borrow the plane and drop it in wherever you live, and go to speak to someone. You as grandmother, he as your son, she as the daughter and granddaughter. I think you need intervention in that because you see, she is hating her father and not her father, not her father right now because he did not give her what she wants. She's thinking and hating him because he's a deadbeat dad. He is grieving because he knows that he gave her everything that she wanted to bring her to the age that she know that she can fly a plane all on her own as not being the biological father. And that is eating him up inside. You are there, you accept her as your granddaughter, even though you know she's not your granddaughter. But it's a vicious something that is going on right now. And I am advising you to talk to your son, to go to therapy with the daughter or the non-daughter and work it out.
I think so. I think somehow the revelation should come.
Yes, she has to know that he did everything for me as not my father.
Because if it may come in such a way
that she has
that
to let it go.
Yeah, and you don't really want that it could be worse based on the circumstances under which he may forced to come out. So to me, that's my advice.
It's amazing that you call now because the next part of it is for the misidentified father and the legal procedures that takes place when they know that they are not the father of that child. Thank you so much. Call again if you need to.
Thank you so very much for your contribution. Yeah, Fred, this is a very peculiar situation, man. So, it's
Mm,
really not easy.
I don't know. It's amazing, but you see now, the child is hating her father because he did not give her the material thing that she needs. But you see, and he didn't want to give her because maybe it was something expensive, but not asking what it is,
Yeah,
but he just didn't want to. And she should not even hold that against him when he brought her to that age, and she's thinking that he's her dad and he's not her dad.
that's the
And
next thing.
he
Maybe
should
that
get
he probably would have felt as well too. Well,
exactly.
this is just so expensive to meet, and the fact of the matter is, I am really not your
Your
dad.
dad, your
Yeah.
dad did not step in your life and you had that one in that time. Let's go. It said legal implications of paternity fraud. Paternity fraud can have significant legal implications for all parties involved. And it says for the misidentified father. Financial obligations may be required to pay child support for a child that is not biologically yours. This is what all about you just said, right? Custody and visitation rights may have established rights that could be challenged if fraud is discovered. Emotional distress can pursue legal actions for intentional infliction of emotional distress in some jurisdiction. So, father that is not the father is required to pay child support for that child, but he doesn't know that the child is not his, right?
Yeah.
But he's supposed to pay child support. Maybe he get upset and he says, you know what? But maybe that time he get to know the child is not his and gone about his business. But she take him to court maybe because he has to pay child support. Non-biological, not his. Custody and visitation rights. So they may have established visitation right because again, I don't know how to look at that if fraud is discovered. So if fraud is discovered and he knows the child is not his, but he still wants to be a part of that child life. So the visitation right is granted to him so that he can go visit the child at some point, let's say once a week, twice a month, or something of that sort. They give him that. Although he knows that the child is not his. And it says the emotional distress can pursue legal action of intentional infliction of emotional distress in some jurisdiction. So it's not every, I don't know if you know, in all different 50 states in America, every one of them maybe has different things that they do. What some may consider a crime, others will just look as just a slap on the wrist and you get away with it. So according to what jurisdiction you live at in the United States, or what place you live at, the jurisdiction thing is going to be different. So some will give you the right to go see the child, while others may just cut you
Where is it? 50 still? Not 52?
50. And Canada has to be 50 first.
50?
Yeah,
Why I
56.
was thinking it was 50?
I thought it was 52 too, but when I said Canada is going to be 51, I said it was 50, 56. And you say it won't take military action to annex Canada. So, now for the mother, legal liability may face civil lawsuits on fraud or misrepresentation. Criminal charges. In some jurisdictions, paternity fraud can be considered a criminal offense. Loss of child support. If fraud is proven, you may lose rights to child support from the misidentified father. So, in some jurisdiction again, it could be considered as a crime that you commit towards
Yeah.
the person. And you may lose the child support that you were getting while he was thinking that the child belonged to
But
him.
only losing it. So what about having to pay it back?
Well, if it's a mean father, and he says, all the money that I gave you when you first opened the child, then you did not love the child with all your heart. Because if you're going to ask back for the money, you were thinking about the welfare of that child. I wouldn't ask back for the money.
You seen it as mean?
No, but I would not ask back for the money, I'm telling you. Because you see, the bond that was
Excuse.
formed between me and that child, no amount of money can pay me back for it. You understand?
Yeah,
Maybe some men might, be,
understand.
and let me tell you, they're not asking for the money because they want it. It's because of the hurt that they are feeling inside that you did that to me. You know, you could have done something different.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, especially here in Greater, sometimes the situations that are occurring resulting in some of these women taking the men to court. I believe sometimes it usually be harsh sometimes when you hear of certain situations. And imagine, okay, you've been trying, sometimes in some situation, the father not working consistently. You understand? They don't want to hear that. Some of the women, they don't care about that. All they know is that taking you to court, taking you to the dog clinic. So imagine when they take that stand, and if after eventually you found out that you're not the biological
That's
father,
what
that's what I'm saying.
that's what I'm saying.
You know?
Put on a halfway and
Uh,
again, it is a rock and a very hard place for you to make certain decisions on that. Because a lot of the women that do that, they know that the child is not a person owner. But because they use the money, the financial stability that they have, they take it. But then again, the court should send them to get a test to make sure that you come and you're written by inside the prison, read by and bring the club test, come and let me see what the result is before I give you money. And sometimes a lot of us as women, we go and we ask for this amount of money, knowing that the person cannot be just to embarrass them to say, oh, you be playing that? And you can't even give me the money that I want for my child. Somebody wrote, in some countries, once a name is on the birth certificate, you are responsible for child support, even if you are not the biological father. Some countries. So it's
yeah,
a different jurisdiction again. So,
that could very well be.
and hence the reason why a lot of women that know they play the field, they do not put a father's name on the birth certificate. You see, they put father's name and you do a draw line
Yeah,
zoom across.
yeah.
So that anything could play. Because maybe they know that, but then again, women, you're doing an injustice to your child. You are. Because I think that, and here's the funny thing, just, we in the Caribbean, we have a set of labels so that we live in a community. You're weren't in bed with the man and the lady. For once that child born, I don't know what it is they're looking for. But child, that man that you have as your father is not your father. No, you have the child come to. Well, yes, it's my daddy. No, it's a go ask your mother who your father is.
What? I find that.
You don't know that happens? On a serious suggestion, you don't know that? They're making
But
that
yeah, even if it's happened, but I mean, that is going really, really
well, yes. Especially if they don't like the person, them and the person in the neighborhood not speaking they have in war. That is to get back at them. So they're sending the poor innocent child now to go to his mother and, Mommy, this thing on the side that say that daddy is not my daddy. Is she dying? Who is my daddy? No mother shock. Well, who could tell the child that, this is not your daddy? But people do that. They take it on their own to tell the child that this is not your daddy. Their grandparents, go and claim child.
Yes.
But
Why the rate of accuracy with that? Yeah.
you asking me?
Yeah, I want to ask you because no.
My children have a coffee fight.
Most of the time is grandparents until we now
Chaos.
go on
And claim they're
and
watching
make that
finger, they're
crazy
watching
man
toe,
and
they're watching ears, they're
so
watching all kind of thing. I don't know.
I find it's very difficult when a baby is born too. I don't know how they do it.
But they do. And it causes confusion. A lot of confusion too. But you see, with the rate of technology these days, grandparents will come and claim whatever they want to claim, let the blood test prove that who it is. Let the blood test prove that. Because the cause was that the child is confused now because daddy is not my daddy. Well, who is my dad? As the man said, who is your dad? You understand? Because it is terrible. If the mother has a secret that is already and she's dying inside because she know what is secret, and then all of a sudden the neighbors start putting more pressure on her to think she can't sleep. You heard this insomnia taking her, she's sleeping, she might sit down and sleep at night because she don't know where to turn.
Yeah. It's not an easy situation, I tell you. It's not an easy situation at all.
He says For the child, identity issues may face emotional and the child may face emotional and psychological challenges upon discovering the truth. So even telling them the truth, you have to be prepared, right? It says inheritance rights. Legal paternity affects inheritance rights, which could be impacted if fraud is discovered. Medical history, that's where it's very important. Access to accurate family medical history could be compromised. That's in the child on the child. Eh? If there's something happened to that child, lo and behold, and they have to go to the hospital and they ask you the medical history of the parent. What if that child father, their lineage have a history of just passing out and dying? Because they have a rare something, a rare blood disease or something, and that child inherits from the father, the biological father, and not knowing that this is going to have an impact on the child. The person that you gave him as his biological father has nothing to do with it. So you are putting your child's life in danger by not telling them the truth. And again, if my daddy is Bill Gates or John Bezos or Warren Buffett, and I have billions to get from his inheritance on his passing. And then we get to know that he's not my daddy. None, nothing, zilch.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Because do you think always a woman always should know from the time she get pregnant? And I'm talking about women that live a promiscuous life, right? Yeah. Do you think she still will be able? She should know who she pregnant for, or it could become a situation whereby she definitely doesn't know.
Yes, it is.
Well, I just asking
I
because
don't
that's from
I do not have not
one
been in a
standpoint.
situation.
But that's what I'm saying. But I mean, you might be in a wrong, going around women and
Yes,
hearing
there's some
certain
women that
talks
have
and
twigs, eh?
yeah.
And it's two different eggs that fertilize. One for you and one for your body.
What you say?
I said,
For real?
it's fertile. Two different children.
So one for one for that.
Things happen. But what? Okay. What if the woman had sex same night, one, two, and swimming, sperm, what else swimming, sperm, what else swim, and then sperm
Some
swimming, one grab this, one grab that.
wow.
Genes is a very strange thing, and a lot can happen. But I don't know. I cannot answer it to tell you. We should Google that and see, research it and see if a woman would know she's pregnant. Because it takes you to miss a period for you to know that your menstrual cycle is come. Although some of us as women have we have periods and still
and still
pregnant,
got pregnant.
right? So if I am sleeping around with different people, I could be pregnant for you. My period is still there. I stop and I go have sex with somebody and still get pregnant. Again, two different children, two different times pregnancy, especially when you're in the ovulating period.
Okay.
So that's why it is not a good thing to sleep around because you're causing a lot of chaos to your whole family. So you see, not only does it stop you from not being the nanny, but if you're rich and you have that child and you said, okay, this is and not one child in the family, you, me, and daddy, and everything daddy has is going to come to mommy and me. You know, mommy and I lose out because when he gets to know mommy deceived him, mommy's cut out from that deal, and if he's so angry, knowing that that child belongs to someone else, he cuts me out from the deal also because he's thinking that when you discover who your biological father is, if he's not there, then you might be feeling sorry for him in whatever situation and take my money and look after that biological father of yours. So they cut you out of everything, leave the money to charity. So on all fronts, it's a lose-lose-lose situation.
Yeah, it's a painful something. Very, very, very painful.
And
Very painful.
the one that I'm stressing
But then the thing about the class,
is
some
in
men,
medical history.
before you go there, but you know, some men, um, they enjoy that happening. So, for example, maybe the woman might sleep around with another man on her husband or so, and there's the man on the outside that got her pregnant, and he may feel good about that. He like did beating his chest about that.
He did like King Kong.
And so it happened that way as well. So,
But
yeah.
when that I understand what you're saying there, and that could happen, and maybe it happens. But at the end of the day, are you stepping up to look after that child, even though?
Well, in some you can't step forward.
Why
You can't step forward. You can't step forward
Because
because you know the implication. You know the implication that may come along.
Look after your child because you are the one who knows.
No, and in some instances, sometimes that family is well off. The husband is in a position where providing handsomely to
Look, I'm ready
the
to
existence of the family. So,
and I tell you, it floored me. The father couldn't have children. He never told his wife. Secret.
he never told his wife that. Okay.
But she was having children. And when he was ready to drop it on her, she couldn't do any more than confess. And the relationship that was having was he's fine. You understand? So there are a lot of men that has vasectomy because they don't want children. But they marry and not. Some will say to their wives, I do not want any children, so I'm going to do this. Then you know to yourself that you're not going to have any children. But some who hold it as a secret and not tell their significant other that they cannot have children, that's where Kaka hit the fan big because first child come. And look at him, he's so beautiful, he's so handsome, he looks just like you.
Tell me about it. Oh my gosh. I know these are the kind of words that will come out in you try to tell me how dangerous y'all could be sometimes.
It's like you send that and so on and so forth. What? He's inside there and he's like, I'm gonna kill that woman. You understand? And then she may find when he's not holding the child, like daddy's happy to get it and not holding the child, he's cold towards the child and everything. And or maybe it's a phase he's going to get the child is too small and all this kind of thing. Not knowing that he knows that the child is not his. Number two come, same thing. But in the meantime, he knows who the children's father, who the children's father is. And when you really drop it on her, she said, well, you weren't treating me right. You weren't doing this. And your friend was. And that is another thing again that men has to be cognizant of. You have your wife, your significant other, and so, and you're not treating them right. The person that coming as a jailboard jester, or a thief, or a criminal that shows you all the emotions, give you all the care and everything, you fall for it. You're not supposed to do that. This is not the right thing to do. But if you are lacking that emotion from the person that you marry, and anything could happen.
Yeah. I gotta see that.
What?
I gotta make mention of that.
It's true. Anything could happen. And we've seen that in a lot of cases. I read about it in a lot of places and stuff like that. And in the end, the man is going to say, well, part of it is my fault because I was not doing the thing. I was not doing the husband thing. I wasn't paying attention to my wife. I wasn't pampering her. I wasn't doing this and I wasn't doing it. So we have to learn to speak out and say what it is because especially when you're home and you're looking after the children, you're looking after the whole thing, you're the superwoman as we had last week, we multitask, we're doing everything. And at the end of the day, we are not getting any care at all, but you always do this. Let me see. So try to these things. Good morning. Good morning. Three had was busy. Now, what is this? Good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
So thank you. How are you?
Good, I'm good. I'm good. And listening to the program, nice topic. But you're just putting up points where you're saying that there are some men that they 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 can't have children. They go into a marriage and they do not tell the wife at hand that hey, I cannot have children.
Oh, I had a big
That's it. Yeah. And so here it is that the wife wants to have children. She's trying with her husband and she can't do it and she's like, okay. Well she stepped up to marriage, which is wrong. And now not start with that and she ended up getting pregnant. And then after now, he wanted to crucify the wife for setting out of the marriage because she's having children and he knows for a fact that he can't. And then wants to blame her in the end. No, that's how fighters start. You see how fighters start.
That's
Yeah, and I think you see how fighters start. I think there is the women who step out of the marriage and they know they have outside children. Which is, come on, you have your husband. You have a close husband now. What do you need not be the closest husband? But no, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. We women and we human beings, not just women, human beings, we are different type of creatures. And God, right about now, they have God, but she's in his head. So I wish us all the best. That's all I can say. I wish us all the best. I know, and to the people out there who know having those problems, those women, like the women going from men to men and having children. It's something I was trying to understand it, but in a way I cannot understand it when you lack self awareness and self confidence. You pop out the first one for one man who tell you he love you, then but you go you pop out the second for next man who says, like,
when
where
the
did you
love
get it?
continues,
That's the
girlfriend. The
thing.
love continues.
Where would you get it? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And I really hope for the right which topic is in the right that people, and it's like quick. Something might just it don't really click one day and say, hey, I'm going about this the wrong way. You understand? That's all in all nice topics. End of the day. That's
Thank, thank you so very much for your contribution. But Claire, the thing about it, right? So two people come together, they have gotten married, and okay, even if yes, the man did not see that he can't have children, but the woman wanting to have children, being desirous of having children. Because I believe in when you start a marriage, especially if the two people did not have children yet, one of the fundamental things is to start a family. So it won't just happen just like that. The woman might say, well, how's, how come that I'm not getting pregnant? We are having unprotected sex. We having it at all different times, but yet I'm not getting pregnant. And then she probably might suggest, well, okay, let's go to a doctor to figure out what is happening. I don't believe it's a case where you just, you
There's
just
no
jump out of the shell just like that. This conversation will come up. You understand what I'm saying? And if he refuses to, you know, then you will realize, well, no,
You're gonna say,
something
honey,
is wrong.
don't worry, when the
Yeah.
time is right, it's gonna happen.
But then it continues all along the lines.
So then she gets the
Yeah.
maybe we're not compatible.
Yeah. So that again might happen.
And that happens. There are a lot of people in marriage that they're not compatible. The sperm enmity there, that's all they're shooting towards it at all, and they don't get pregnant. I know of people that in a relationship, they're trying for years and years and years, and the man did not have a vasectomy, and no, he did not do the other thing here. They're just not compatible in the productive line. And the minute that person or that woman move on to someone else, lo and behold, Jiminy Cricket, pregnancy.
Exactly. Listen, I am somebody what I will say what I have to say because well, I've reached an age and a stage now, but in my formative years, let's say that's why I say I don't really believe. I believe I should be testing the vehicle and realizing it's working for me first before.
You want to be pregnant before you sleep?
I believe in this thing about marriage before. No. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you straight up,
Uh-huh.
if I was to do something like that, go get into a marriage and realize that my partner cannot get pregnant, I'm making a child understand. That's it. Straight up. It's just, some people might say, they could say what they want, but that is what I'll do.
Because you want a child.
Exactly. Imagine you don't have a child like that. It's a different thing now. If I decide to go and get married, no, because I have children already. So that might be different. But imagine you didn't have no children yet. You go and get married, expecting that you will start a family, and your partner cannot get pregnant. For me,
Are you going to discuss it with her first?
well, yeah, I will discuss it with
How about adoption?
her. No, sir.
Don't give it up. Okay, no, sir. No adoption. So
No,
you're going to
no.
discuss it with her. What if she says to you, no, Jester, I cannot handle this of you going outside and have a child, even though it's not happening with us?
Well, that's, you'll have to try and handle it, because
Because you're going to handle it. Are you here? Just like a bad man.
well, you could say what you want, but it's just straight up. Straight up.
Hmm. Okay, so here the impact of paternity fraud on children. While legal and financial aspects are important, the impact on children is a crucial consideration. Relationship dynamics. So here what happens. The change in family relationship. Potential loss of connection with the man believed to be the father. Long-term consequences. The impact on future relationship and trust. Potential effects on mental health and well-being. So all of that happens, eh? So the child and the father now, they lose that connection that they have to say, well, he's not my son, that's not my father. Relationships are going south. But there are those, as we said earlier, who grew that child, who formed that bond with the child. That child is calling me dad from the time you say
Yeah.
da.
And remember, the child was always innocent.
Yes,
Yeah.
always. And then you see all that happen. Think about the mental health effect on all of them, the mother, the father, but mostly the child, because you feel like, who do I belong to? I know this is my mother. For sure, that's my mom. And then you might question, is that my mom for real too? Because it could be my dad have me, and the person that is mine is not my mom, and that mom grew me up just so, and my mother is somewhere out there in La La Land. You see? It says, yes, sir. That is not true love. We get another call.
Not true.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, Claire.
Again, yes?
It's me again. Listen, right now I'm dealing with a problem. I had a child, a baby sat for, and now she's like 24 years old.
Mhm.
And I just met up with her because I met her grandmother at a function who remembered who I was.
Mhm.
And she said, that child is looking for me. The child came by last week
Mhm.
asking me if I knew who her father was because her mother never told her anything about father. She don't know who's her father, and she's trying to find that out. And nobody in the family is telling her. This child is hurting. She's hurting. And to be honest with you, when I look at her, I cry because I have her picture in my album, and she said these are the only baby pictures that she saw. You know.
Do you
So
know
she's
who her
asking
father
me,
is?
hello?
Do you know who her father is?
Yes. No, I don't. We
No.
never discussed father.
Okay.
But she thinks that at least somebody would have known because I had her from the time she was like 2 weeks old
Okay.
up to 5 years.
Mm.
So she figured I was the only loving person in her life because of the pictures I had of her as a baby.
Okay.
And she really did not know because we did not keep in touch.
Mhm.
It's only after now that she's 24 years old, her grandmother told her who I was, and she came to look for me.
Okay. You see,
And right at that present, to be honest with you, the child is hurting. She wants me now to take her in as my daughter.
Well, I take her if you can afford it. And it's not, I don't think she's looking for money. I think she's looking for comfort, for someone to belong.
Yes.
Because she had us since 2 years old. She made the silly thing about it, we are like animals. You know, so I was watching something the last time where a lion was lying dead somewhere. One of the people in East African Sahara. So what's safari?
Sahara?
Sahara. No, I went somewhere. The safari, not the Sahara, the safari. Looked after that animal. Somebody tied her on a tree, and the lion came and untied her because he remembered it was her that saved him when he was hurting. So, children,
Yeah.
we may not understand the complexity of how we think under pressure, under stress. We remember things. And she may have remembered that you were the one that was there with her, treating her as her mom. She came back to you. So I'm saying to you, do not turn your back on her. She may not want
Okay.
money, and even though she want money and you don't have it, just explain to her, listen, I am at a stage where I don't have any money, but what I have, whatever I have, we can share. Just take her in as comfort because she needs someone in her life to make her belong. And that's what, maybe that's all she needs.
She gave me a nice book of flowers she brought when she walked in.
Mm.
And I mean,
And it
it
touched
was
you to
like
your
a breath of
core.
fresh air.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
All right. And
Okay,
thank
bye bye.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So I was going to read what someone said. Jester, that is not true love. It may not be the woman's fault that you cannot have a child. It is for better or worse. So you cannot go outside there, Jester, and
See what,
say your wife cannot have children, go in and you're making one.
people see what they want.
Well, they say when they're not going to be
Well,
okay.
of course, I
So
respect
it's
it. I,
now almost
no, no, no,
quiet.
no. Let me put it very nicely. I do respect how the person feel and express themselves, really and truly, but I don't think I will go by that.
Okay, let's go. We have to move along. So preventing paternity fraud. While not always possible, there are steps that can be taken to prevent paternity fraud. Here, one, early paternity testing. We spoke about it earlier. Conducting DNA tests soon after the birth or when paternity is first questioned. Two, legal paternity acknowledgement. Being cautious about signing paternity acknowledgements without certainty. Three, open communication. Encouraging honest communication between partners about paternity. Four, legal consultation. Seeking legal advice before assuming parental responsibilities. Next, we go to future trends in addressing paternity fraud. As technology and societal norms evolve, so do approaches to paternity fraud. One, increased use of genetic testing. More accessible and affordable DNA testing may lead to early detection of paternity fraud. Two, legal reform. Some jurisdictions are considering new laws to address paternity fraud more effectively. Three, focus on children's rights. Growing emphasis on considering the child's right to know their biological heritage. Four, alternative dispute resolution. Increased use of meditation and, increased use of mediation and collaborative law approaches resolving paternity fraud cases. Five, public awareness. Greater public education about paternity fraud and its consequences. So these are things that they are throwing out there so that people who or fathers who feel that, and some fathers feel that the child is not theirs yet, but they're sticking to it because they love their wives, they love their person, so they're willing to accept it. But they're saying now that with the way things are evolving, you can find out at an early stage in your relationship or in the child's life if that baby belongs to you or not. And if you're willing to stay there when you discover what the truth is. So the recommendation.
Well, I mean, my comment in when the father decide to do something, the woman might think, well, why you don't trust me?
Well, it's easy for everybody to jump up and say, "We don't trust me." But trust, you would know. Let me tell you something.
Uh,
We have another call coming.
oh my gosh.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning, morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm calling a little bit late, so I'm going to try to be brief. But the topic remind me, I don't know if you know about that TV series, Lauren Lake Paternity Code.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where actual, it comes on about noon every day. It's an American program,
Mm-hmm.
but it's actual real life stories where children are trying to find their father.
Mm-hmm.
And in most cases, sometimes the mothers do not know who the father is. But one that stood out to me that I saw was in the case of this young woman. She was 22 years old and she was about to get married. And the person who she thought was her father was about to walk her down the aisle. Then it was leaked that it was not her father. So there they were in court now trying to find the real father. And it turned out that the man that she grew up with was not her father. So she was so devastated. So it just shows the importance of children knowing who their real father is. And also medically, because in the case of some disease like cancer, it is stated that the children of the, let's say my father has prostate cancer and he has a son. The son should start testing for that disease about 10 years before the age that the father found out that he had prostate cancer. So here's an example where it's very important for men, especially, to know who the real father is in case there is any medical concern that they can address it. So it's important. Sometimes it's not deliberate, but mothers should, as much as they could, make sure that their children know who their real fathers are. So this is my contribution for today.
Thank you so very much. And that is nothing but the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And as we say, it may be tough for a mother to say to her husband that, I'm sorry, honey, things happen. I had a relationship with that person. I got pregnant. The child is not yours. And it could be before she met the person, right? She met him when she was pregnant. She came into the relationship pregnant and not sick. But there comes a time that you have to tell because of all the things that Ronald just said.
Yes, I believe.
All the things.
Yeah.
So, coming down to the conclusion. Paternity fraud is a complex issue with significant legal, emotional, and financial implications for all parties involved. Understanding the legal landscape, available remedies, and potential challenges is crucial for anyone facing or suspecting paternity fraud. Here are the key takeaways. Paternity fraud occurs when a mother knowingly misidentifies a man as the biological father of her child. Legal implications can include financial obligations, custody rights, and potential civil or criminal charges. DNA testing plays a crucial role in resolving paternity fraud cases, but legal admissibility must be ensured. The legal process for addressing paternity fraud involves filing petitions, serving documents, and potentially court hearings. Professional services like those provided by Undisputed Legal play a vital role in ensuring that all legal documents are properly served through paternity fraud proceedings. So here's the future trends in addressing paternity fraud. As technology and societal norms evolve, so do approaches to paternity fraud. You did that the increase of use of genetic testing, more they have DNA tests more available. Some jurisdiction use it as a criminal offense, while others is not. And the thing is focused on the children's rights. The great emphasis on considering the child's right to know their biological heritage. You get an alternative dispute resolution, increased use of mediation and collaborative law approaches in resolving paternity fraud cases. Public awareness. So make it, the public has to be aware that when you do these things, the impact that it has on your children or your child. This says, so we're going on to that. The impact on children is a crucial consideration in these cases, often influencing legal decision. As we look to the future, addressing paternity fraud will likely involve balancing technological advancements, legal reforms, and ethical considerations. The increased accessibility of DNA testing may lead to early detection and prevention of paternity fraud, while legal systems may evolve to provide clearer pathways for addressing those complex cases. For those dealing with paternity fraud, it is crucial to seek expert legal advice, understanding your rights and options, and consider the long-term implications for all involved, especially the children. While the legal aspects are important, the emotional and psychological impact should not be overlooked. Remember, while paternity fraud cases can be challenging and emotionally charged, approaching them with a focus on truth, fairness, and the best interest of the child can help guide you through the legal process and towards a resolution that addresses the needs of all parties involved. Should we say more?
Well, what book
The
can we say?
truth, nothing but the truth, say it. And say it with humility. Because you cannot sleep at night, you cannot do anything. You're so focused on the secret that you have hidden inside of you, knowing that the child that you gave Jester is not his, and Jester is looking after the child with all his heart, his mind, his soul, the bond that is between them, and then boom. And in those cases, some children, as Lorna said, go out there to look for the biological fathers and so. Some of them find them, right? They may have a sort of relationship with them, like, I know you are my father. But the man that grew me up from birth to now is my dad. You understand? I don't mind we saying hi to each other, but I would not give up my daddy for you, right? And then there are some fathers that when the child find them, because they're living in their comfort zone with their wife and the other family, want nothing to do with you. So that again is another hurt in itself. Because the person that is my real dad wants nothing to do with it. So the impact of it mentally can cause a child to go through so much in their lives that when you see them doing things, you wonder what happened to that boy or what happened to that girl. But we have no idea because we did not walk a mile in the shoes.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know how some women do it, man. But
What you mean about it? This
well,
with somebody
no,
they get pregnant and
because
we just give the child.
listen what happens sometimes again. So, for example, a woman might be going around with a man before, and just before they broke up, she got pregnant,
Yeah.
and then she finds somebody new, but did not tell that person that
That's what I said.
she actually
She's
would
pregnant.
probably try to, you know.
That's right. She gave the child to
Right.
the person that came
So
to her now. She is the father. You if you look at you ever look at that Maury Povich show?
yeah,
And I'm sure that he is the daddy. Look at his nose, look at his eyes, look at he looks so much like his daddy. DNA test come. You are not the father, the woman run and born. But you know you sleep with there are lots of people. And you see the thing about it when we as women are greedy or we want too much in our life, we do all the wrong things. We sleep with Tom, Dick, Harry, and everybody that come our way to give to get what we want. I do not think about the implications that when you get pregnant, the person that you give that child to, what happened to your child. We see all that people walking around and they're looking good and they dress up and so, but just we never know what is going on inside here. Because mental health is not something that you can pinpoint and say that person is suffering through it.
now I'm saying I don't know how some of us do it, man. Remember, the good thing you can pin man to this one, because
When you say when you know you cannot have children and you did not tell me that you cannot you couldn't have children, when you had a vasectomy without letting me know that you cut out the string from your penis that gives you sperm to you. How could you that is what don't blame us with that when you have a to blame it.
yeah,
I'm not saying that they're right to do what they did,
yeah,
but you're not going to be free of that at
yeah,
all. Sorry.
you could say what I want.
I'm saying as it is.
You, the child developing, and you actually.
And I did not vote against it. I'm saying, yes, it happens, and we as women have to know to come out and tell the truth for your child's sake. And forget about you. If you're afraid that your business, the man say he doesn't want to in his life anymore, go about your business. But here is it. So why is only the woman to be at fault? Men does mess up bad as well. Leaving their wives or girlfriend without a child and having children with other women. Preach to the choir, girl.
Yeah, I mean, if I mean,
So yes, so why
that,
you saying it's us when men do the same thing? Why you labeling us? Yes, we bring the child forth and we give the because again, hear what he says. financial support, things for later on down their life. They're looking for that for the child because they know the loser what they have really get pregnant for have not have one
Oh, God.
Why do you think, Jester, in the United States, men who do not look after the children called, as you said, deadbeat dad? They take when they get to realize that they have a child and they're not looking after it, they lose their license, their driver's license.
So,
They lose
well, you hear me say,
everything.
man, supposed to be seen
So
about
they
it.
don't come and live with us
But,
and say, ah, somehow we can wait all do the same damn thing.
well, what? So, man carrying child?
Huh?
Man
Okay.
carrying child?
I
So,
don't think
but I
that
don't
child
understand.
just dropped into my uterus like that because you
Hmm.
being part of it. I gave you the egg, you put the sperm, and then we have a baby. So it's not only me and it's not only it's us. And take responsibility because
Right.
if you're producing sperm that is not refined, blanks constantly, what are you
Well,
doing?
who put you on the jacket? Maybe
What
that's what I
jacket?
put. Why not? So, carry all this program reaching to an end in the pleasure stuff, man.
Actually, I is dying of cancer. And at least, let me tell you, a lot
My
of people
God.
are already stressed that they're on because, NP said, go and leave and you go have children with other women out there and have other children. And we are in there. And let me tell you something.
Who
So
said that?
you're
Who said
gonna
that?
go and so like you and have compatible with each other to have a child. And it happens. A lot of men blame the woman, oh, she barren. She can't have children. When your sperm count is as low as they don't want a chicken on it, it's your fault that you cannot have children. Not mine. My eggs are fertile as ever. But your sperm cannot beat mine and have a child. So that is your fault. Go and eat some shellfish or go to the
Your
doctor and
fault.
get your
So why is
sperm
it?
up and above.
Claire, why is it that you're really trying to say it? Say it.
Men,
So what is
that
showing? Why one do?
just men
Oh,
is
say
just
it.
as
Oh, God. Sure.
Come here, this morning.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Sure, but I can get it.
you need to stop. That is wrong for a woman to have children for different men. But it's okay for men to have with different men. And that point of it's 2 minutes past 12, sorry, but we're gonna that is an important point. Because you see, when women do that, everybody has something to say. She's a slut, she's a whore, she's a this, she's a but when men are doing it, it is okay for a man to go out and have children and nobody's saying it. Just as when a man old as gold and he have a wife of 29, nobody says, oh, that old man have that thing. Nobody says. But if an older woman falls in love with a younger man, everybody, she robbed the cradle, she just hush him.
You ever hear a man give my misidentity of a child?
Yes.
What does the not woman does give misidentity of child?
Men are saying sure that the mother is sure that the child is there. No, young men they have relationship with him and the one never get pregnant for them, but claiming that that child is theirs and come hell or high water, that child is there. So it's not one sided. And that will end our program. Thank you so very much for participating in this program this morning. It was a hard one for me to research and come up with what I know. But the fault is not only us as women, it's both parties. And when we accept this, things are going to work better. And Ovalachi, your son, talk to him, contact your granddaughter because she's still your granddaughter and have that therapeutic session to see if you can get closure. Because your son will not want to go through the rest of his life feeling hurt that he looked after that little girl and then she turned her back on him. Do that. And for all women or all parents who are going through this, there is communication. Use open communication to talk about it because at the end of the day, it's not you who are going to suffer most. It is the CHILD or CHILDREN. That's them, not us humans. To remain hot, we might be able to get over him. But a child that feels as though he has no one left in the world is the one that he has to go see after. Thank you so very much. And we shall see hopefully next Tuesday, God's willing, with another topic. And as I say, if you have topics that you want me to discuss, you want us to discuss, send it to me. Call me on the WhatsApp number that we have flashing across the screen, and we will do. It is the mental health program for each and every one of us because I learn different things every day. Thank you so much to every one of you. And we are Out. Goodbye, everybody. And Jester, I don't like you anymore. We are no longer.
Georgia?
Five, four.